You want some bad news, Michael?
No.
What are you asking me?
You're the guru of the gray matter. I figured if anybody had it, you'd have the answer.
I can't give you any direction.
I think I'm going to have to change this channel. I'm sorry.
You're completely wrong.
I refuse to be wrong on 2 calls in a row.
Tell me I'm spot on or tell me I'm crazy as I'll get out.
I have no idea.
I have a 6-month-old, so we'll be raising him according to Dr. Ray.
Talk about being a winner.
So, you want my question?
You ain't making any sense.
You're absolutely right. I just needed confirmation.
So what are you going to do about it, Dawn?
I'm calling you.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Very nice to be with you live. Today, this is not Look Back Friday. This is Listen to You Friday every so often. Andrew Kruchek, my producer, and I, we just decide, okay, there are folks who only can call in on a Friday because of work schedules or perhaps different educational schedules, homeschoolers that have a lighter Friday. Whatever it might be, I'm not taking previous calls and embellishing them, I hope with some aplomb, but I'd rather talk to you now live. So, giving out the number, 877-573-7825. Now, typically on Friday, we get a lot of calls, and that's welcome. A couple things I'd like to say. People who email me, e-person me, number one reason they say I can't call in or I won't call in is people would recognize my voice. Get one of those voice simulators. Or I'll tell you what you do. Record your voice. Then you can use AI to do this. Record your voice when you drive through a fast food place and you order. See how that works? You can do that. You can be anonymous. Another reason they don't call in, believe it or not, they say in so many words, I'm too busy. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's a direct relationship to how frustrated you are by the situation and how busy you have to be before you call. Or they don't say this out loud. I don't think I'll get anything out of you. Okay, I got that. I have a few of those. Usually relatives, sometimes my kids. Sometimes they'll say, well, if I don't call in first, it's going to be hard to get in. No, it's not. We have 9 lines, and we have a lot of room. Yeah, but I didn't call in first. I called in halfway through the show, so therefore I'm the 6th person. No, you're not. The calls are taken in varied order for various reasons. Now, if somebody calls early in the show, it's more likely they're going to get on because I feel guilty. Even if it's a similar call to something we've had yesterday, say, well, if they are kind enough to wait, I'm not going to say, well, too bad, so sad, we had something like that yesterday. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I feel guilty. So we'll get you on here. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call to get onto the program. Not Look Back Friday, but Listen to You Friday. All right, let's do the monologue. You know that's coming. And you know at least when you call in, you're going to have to wait during that amount of time on the program. People are shocked, hurt, betrayed, I guess, by a relationship that they think was solid. Regularly, people will say, we were so close before, and then they'll describe the scenario. Whether it's an inheritance problem, whether it's some kind of social friction, an argument, they'll say that. We were so close. I thought we were so close. And then the relationship either cooled or broke dramatically. They don't know how this happened. What is going on? Whatever I thought I did wasn't that bad. I've even apologized for it more than once. And the relationship still hasn't been the same. What could explain that? A number of things. One, if something breaks a relationship or dramatically cools it, something that you thought shouldn't have had that kind of power, there's a good chance that that relationship was not as close as you thought. That the person who decided to estrange themselves or to distance themselves had a number of unexpressed resentments, dislikes, things that were somewhat building when the final straw happened. I didn't want to say straw break the camel's back. It's such a cliche. The final straw that sunk the boat. There you go. That's one. You weren't as close as you thought, because if you were genuinely as close as you thought, that wouldn't have happened. Oh, it might have caused some temporary friction, but it wouldn't have broken the relationship. That's one. Another one is this. I don't think it was that bad. What I did. That would never break a relationship for me. And you're right. But you ain't them. As a psychologist, I've gained a begrudging respect for how people can get upset over things that you wouldn't even consider that they would, for whatever the reason. Maybe you stepped on a nerve you didn't know they had. Something about their own personality in this particular event just hit that personality issue hard. You didn't know that. Wouldn't bug you, wouldn't bother you. If somebody did that to you, you wouldn't fracture a relationship. They did. Because you can't necessarily read them. I have people in my office all the time saying things like, I do not understand why they would do that. I would never do something like that. And I know you wouldn't. But they did. But how could they? Because they are who they are, and you don't know their history, and you don't know their personality, and you don't know their sore spots. That's another reason. A third one is what I call a relationship fracturing event. Something that the relationship has never had to endure before. I had a friend once who got very, very angry at me. Very angry. And his response was, we'll just go from here. And what happened was I sent him something. This was back when you did it with the computer and you didn't do it on your phone. I sent him something that was funny. It was some kind of meme or something that was funny. I didn't realize that after the meme, there was a number of political comments. I didn't know that. And these political comments apparently did not sit well with him. And he wrote me back. You crossed the line. Those were his words. You crossed the line. I thought, what? So you know what I did? I apologized. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't even know those were there. I didn't mean to imply anything by it. But I really thought to myself, oh, come on. For heaven's sakes, cross the line. Come on. And I've been friends with this guy for 40 years. What? Well, apparently there was something about that really was potent for him. It wasn't be potent for me, but it was something that was within the narrow confines of something that could really assault the relationship as he saw it. Whoa! So, don't necessarily be shocked. Get a lot of calls on this program about people who don't understand why this person could just break the relationship or leave it or assault it or attack it or come back with vengeance. It's sometimes very hard to gauge how somebody's going to react. Haven't you had that in your life? I've had it in my life. I'll do something or I'll say something and I just thought it was pretty benign. And to them it wasn't. And I didn't know inside their head, what was percolating. I stepped in the swamp. How's that for a mixed metaphor? All right, we got a lot of calls up there, and I want to talk to folks. 877-573-7825. Notice I didn't say I want to listen. I never saw Frasier, but apparently his tagline when he goes on the air is, "This is Dr. Frasier Crane. I'm listening." Well, let's just do it this way. This is Dr. Ray Guarendi. I'm talking.
Another year has come and gone, and whether you like it or not, Uncle Sam requires you to make an accounting. Perhaps it's time to call Myler and Zipka. They work with you to legally minimize your tax bill and identify ways to reduce future taxes. Eliminate the nagging feeling that you're paying more taxes than you need to. Call Ken Zipka today at 734-930-5500. Myler and Zipka. Integrity, excellent value, and people dedicated to a long-term relationship. 734-930-5500.
I'm Jack Crisula. Please join us Tuesday, June 2nd, 6:30 p.m. at St. John's Resort for the Rosary, followed by a speech by Father Jason Brooks entitled, "Give 'em Heaven, Making the Kingdom of God Present in Your Everyday Life Through the Power of the Holy Spirit." Father Brooks leads a healing ministry in Metro Detroit. No registration is required. For more information, please email jack.crisula, Krasula, at trustinus.com. Thank you. God bless.
Ave Maria Radio wants to invite you, your family, and friends to a very special getaway at the historic Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, Michigan, this August 9th to the 11th, with daily mass and powerful talks from Bishop Robert Barron, Monsignor James Patrick Shea, Rachel Bullman, and Father Frankie Cicero. Celebrate 250 years of America with gourmet meals, dancing to the Grand Hotel Orchestra, and more. Book this Ave Maria Radio trip now by clicking the travel tab at AveMariaRadio.net.
Grab your bikes, lace up your hiking shoes for the North Macomb Right to Life Biker Hike for Life fundraiser, Saturday, June 20th on the Macomb Orchard Trail in Romeo. Gather your family, friends, and fellow parishioners for an active outdoor day, cycling, hiking, and walking, while celebrating the beauty and dignity of every human life. T-shirt registration ends June 1st. Don't miss out. Register today at lifeisapeach.org. That's lifeisapeach.org. Bike it, hike it, for life.
Oh, yeah, I like it. Well, I don't think she's moved yet. And I talked to her yesterday. She was on the line at the end of the program, so that's our rule. You're on the line at the end of the program. We talked briefly, very briefly. I had about a minute before the end of the program, so rudely cut me off. Either it did or Andrew Kruchek did. I don't know. But Laura has moved before. Now, her moves were basically forced upon her. Job, relocation, things like that, and they turned out okay. Well, this time around, no, this is a freedom move. They're weighing the pros and cons. Laura's husband is 100% pro. He wants to go. Laura says, I like it here. I don't know. And then she gave me a 50-50. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Well, is it really 50-50 or is it 55-45, something like that?
Yeah, maybe something like that. I see all the spiritual benefits because we'll have access to the sacraments more. It will be closer and all of that. I just want you to give me the steps to calm myself down because I know it's going to happen.
Surely. Oh, I'm sorry. You're Laura, not Shirley.
I start breathing quickly, and my heart rate goes up, and I get a sick stomach in my feeling. Stomach. But yeah.
Well, then we got two lines of talking here. The first one is you said it would be convincingly a benefit to my spiritual well-being and our family's spiritual well-being. Now, as a byproduct, to use that word, it's not a good word, a byproduct of that would be perhaps more peace, perhaps more contentment, an ability to cope with some of the bumpy spots that could happen because you've moved. But if you're saying I'm going to be closer to the Lord, then you got to figure that's going to spill into your everyday ability to enjoy life and be at peace. I would think. Okay, that's one. Now, here's the part about, I start breathing hard and sweating and all kinds of things happen. My ears ring and I get toenail fungus and it all just happens. First thing you do is you don't be afraid of that. You say to yourself, well, this is what happens when I agonize over this. Now, I got two options. One, I quit agonizing. It's 55-45. I'm going to go with the 55. That doesn't mean the 45 goes away. Now, it will go away after you move. That's for sure. You will be much more content spiritually, closer to the Lord, I'm going to assume, and therefore it'll spill over into your family life. That's one. Two, you're not going to have those feelings after you move. These are pure pre-move reactions. This is still while you're in the throes of, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. What if, I don't know. Well, you do that, and you're going to feel that way. Now, the one thing I can take this away from you with my psychological puissance. You're not in any danger. This is just your body listening to your mind. Your mind is going, oh, this is not good. Oh, no, I don't know if I like this. This is unsafe. And your body's going, okay. I'll get shook. I'll go into protect mode. That's all that's happening. And if you know that, it'll pass. The one thing that'll keep it going is if you're scared of it. You can't be scared of it. Now, tell me where I'm wrong.
You aren't. I just needed you to say it.
Andrew, that's a good bumper line. Keep it. Don't let Laura's bumper line. Laura, you have gone on no matter where you move. Oh, wait a minute. I just thought of this. Hold on a second. Okay, you're moving. If, in fact, you don't get my show where you're moving, you better stay where you are. That's the only thing I'm saying. That pretty much knocks out everything. But actually, that's not possible because you can get an app. You can get Sirius Satellite Channel 130. You can get it anywhere you want. So the old days of saying, no, there's no affiliate there, Laura. You can't move. You'll simply backslide psychologically and you'll be an emotional wreck. No, that's...
Whether I'm here or there, I will be listening, Dr. Ray.
Laura, do me this favor. About a month or two from now after you leave, call me, please, and say, Dr. Ray, you're totally wrong. I'm a mess. Or, Dr. Ray, I was so scared and all kinds of things are happening that are beautiful. We've got a new faith community at church. I'm in a Bible study. I met this lady. She's a doll. Oh, it's wonderful, Dr. Ray. Okay, so that's either way. Okay.
I will call you back and report.
Oh,
Thank you so much for saying what I needed to hear.
Don't be scared of anxiety. That's one of the big themes of my new book coming out on anxiety. Anxiety will get you if you're scared of it.
I'm not scared of it now.
That a girl. You go with God. Bye, Laura.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, honey. Thanks. We got time. Mary from Minnesota is running into a problem. I never, ever, as a psychologist, for the first 25 years of practice, maybe 30, never had to address a situation like the one that Mary has. And it's not because Mary is so pathological. It's because Mary's situation reflects the lostness of so much of what's going on out there. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Dr. Ray.
Well, you said it's a transgender nephew. Is it a transgender niece, or which is it?
Biological male.
Okay.
And I didn't actually get the invite. My sister did. I haven't had a lot of, and it's a great nephew. So it's my nephew's son who's graduating.
Okay.
And my sister got a announcement, invitation. They're out of state. To this, for this graduate, and she wants to send a card but how do you address it?
You could.
Should it be initial, last name? But then you know that, okay, let's see.
Okay.
They're not going to hear this anyway. So Nolan went to NOLA at about the age of 13.
Isn't that amazing? You can knock one letter off your name and totally change your sex. Amazing. What a world we live in.
So she definitely does not want to send it to NOLA because that's not.
What if she says on the card, the graduate?
And somebody gave her that idea of last name graduate, Smith graduate. And I was just wondering your opinion on it.
Mary, they'll know what she's doing. If she avoids in any way calling this young person Nora, anyway, last name, initial last name, the graduate, whatever, they're going to read through that. Now tell her that and know that. So no matter how she addresses it, they're going to get mad at her unless she actually says Nora. Okay, that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. But she has the right. She doesn't have to address somebody the way they demand. If I say, Mary, I want you to address me as Lord Ray. And you say, no, I'm not going to. Mary, who are you to deny the identity that I have right now? You don't have to. You don't have to. Now, inside the card, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, it's just sad that we have to walk on eggshells in order to not lose full contact.
Well, that's the sad thing about it.
And that's what she's doing.
It shows you. This isn't just I have made this decision, and I know there are some people who are not going to like it, and I can respect that, so I will let them respond to it as they wish. No. It's I demand that you respond the way I say you should respond. That's the militancy of it, and it reflects, in my opinion, personality issues. Now, that said, get her get the card that says on the inside, wish you good guidance in your life. And then you just, you can't say guy. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Don't spell it that way. Something inside the card. And then you simply say, in handwriting, you say, I wish you many, many wise avenues as you pursue your life. And then you just sign it Aunt Grace or whatever it is. And that's it. You don't have to put a first name. You don't have to put any of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of, it just seemed like
you're going to get it anyway. Mary, she's going to get it anyway.
And last name would be more obvious. And, they know her stance on things, too.
She's not allowed to have that stance. That's the problem.
Right.
She is not permitted. I know. Our culture picks and chooses the new sins. And the new sin is if you simply do not abandon certain aspects of your religious beliefs, that's a terrible sin. So that's so much of the way it is. The cultural sins have now surpassed personal sins of Christianity. If this kid had a child out of wedlock to someone who has abandoned him or whatever, we would all kind of just say, well, okay, we got to support him, we got to do this, we got to do that. But in this case, if you don't exactly do what I want, you're the evil one. I know it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Well,
and
thank you for your opinion.
You're welcome. And it all surrounds sexuality, all of it. That's what I think. There's so much in the culture that says the way we get rid of Christianity is to totally alter the sexual mores that have dominated Christianity and have colored so many successful cultures. Nice to have you with me, Dr. Ray. This is not Look Back Friday. This is Listen to You Friday, or Listen to Me Friday, as it were. Pointed out to me by my producer man, Andrew Kruchek. Beginning, and I said, Listen to You Friday. And then after that, I said, this is Dr. Ray. I'm talking. Okay. Thanking you for your patience up there, and I promise you, I will get to you. Anonymous caller from Ohio. Interesting thought here. Hello there, sir. How are you?
Great. How are you today?
Nothing gaining on me.
I was going to ask you about what you thought about, when you're married, having joint accounts versus separate accounts financially. But, I had an argument with my son this morning, and I'm thinking maybe this would be the better question to ask. What is your take about cell phones and kids? Because high schoolers in particular, juniors, seniors, what have you, I am opposed to them, and I think it's just a lot of work, a lot of hassle to have to continue to go through their phones, check their photos, check their contact lists, and what have you, and it's just it's a source of frustration and arguments with my wife and I, and we've had two other kids ahead of him who had cell phones. And we don't allow it until they're seniors in high school, and it just reluctantly we let them have them. And same thing, we've watched them, have been on them, but it's just such it's like a whole other universe to try to really even regulate that. No matter how good of a parent you are, it is so hard to look at all that, thousands of photos, different Snapchats, Instagram, Facebook, messaging. And I'm just kind of when it comes to things like that, I'm a minimalist, like where I rather just say, nope, we're done with this. No cell phones at all. When you guys move out, you can get them. But that's also impractical in terms of a lot of these jobs now that these kids do in high school. They have to, and I've seen this, they have to have their cell phone because that's how their managers communicate with them to let them know, oh, hey, we don't need you to come in today, what have you. And I don't know. So I just wanted to kind of get your take on this crazy wild beast called the cell phone.
If I were a benevolent dictator, I would say, okay, cell phones after age 17. Mm-hmm. Because I don't care how much older a kid is. And a lot of parents will say, well, we didn't give them to him when she was 12. There's no way we're going to do that. So we gave it to her when she was 15. But I just see the damage it does even at 15. There's just no question. Sure. It alters personalities. Yeah. It alters everything. It's a machine gun in the hands of a 3-year-old. I'm becoming more and more convinced of that the longer I'm a psychologist. Mm-hmm. And the research is backing me up. Okay, so that said, if you say, well, the whole world functions by smartphones, what are we going to do here? Mm-hmm. There's a couple of ways around that. There are a couple. There more than a couple. There are phones out there that look like the smartphones, but they are called Wise phones or Gab. Mm-hmm. And you can get those, and those are very protected kinds of phones. There's certain apps unavailable, et cetera, et cetera. You can do that. You can give them a flip phone, no internet access. Of course, they don't want to take that. Ooh, does it bite? Ooh. Okay, that's 2. 3, you can pair your phone to their phone so that every single thing that happens on their phone you are aware of. You can do that.
Okay.
Yep. 4, and we did this with my daughter when she was 16 and she was running cross country. The coach called our phone.
I see. Sure.
Practice has changed. Daughter, here's when it is. And if she says, well, Dad, if I go to practice and we quit early, what do I do? And I go, well, wait a minute. Didn't you say you're the only one without a smartphone? Yes. Well, then you got your choice of about 9 others, don't you? So there's ways around it. The big problem is that the pressure is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It is beyond comprehension. You will be accused of ruining your kid. Your kid may get deceptive and resentful. Family members may look at you like, what kind of freako are you? Look what you're doing.
Sure.
My daughter, when she worked at a fast food place, told me that without exception, every one of the kids she worked with said, my parents are psycho. Yep. So that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. The problem is, not everybody who has a smartphone is going to misuse it. That's true. But the risk is exceptionally high. And it isn't just blatant misuse. It is personality alterations. That's what it does.
Right. Yes.
So all of that said, it sounded like you said you and your wife are not on the same page.
Right. We're with various, just trying to come up. It's been such a work in progress, trying to just come up with, a nice standard where it's, we have 9, as you know, when you have a lot of kids, we have 9 kids. It's hard to regulate all these things, especially the universe of the internet, because that's just a whole nother real world where there's so much out there. Even when you look at video game systems and who's talking to your kids, is that on or off where they can communicate with others? And it is very overwhelming and time consuming. As I said before, I'd rather just say, hey, we're not having any of this to make it much simpler and easier to deal with. So
all of our kids, our kids are older, so we didn't have the pressure quite, but all of them didn't get smartphones until basically college. But this was 15 years ago. The last child, we gave her a smartphone in high school. She misused it, so we took it. And then her friends kept giving her their iPods or whatever else it is that you could use without having to have a contract. And she had five of them that we basically took. Yeah. She's in her 20s now, and she recognizes it. She says, "Yeah, Dad, that's." She has a little baby now, and she's all upset because she's going, "It's a girl, and I don't want a child to do to me what I did to you, Dad."
Sure.
I said, "I'll just stand and grin as she starts on you." Yeah. So those are my thoughts on that. And if you say 17. And there are certain restrictions, constrictions, safety mechanisms. And by the way, recent survey said approximately 50% of parents do not put any kind of safety features on their kids' smartphones.
Sure.
So there you go.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Dr. Ray.
Okay, my friend. I'll talk to you. All right. Got to take a break. By the way, it's only halfway through the show, a little more than halfway. So you want to call and get on? Be delighted to have you. This is not Look Back Friday. This is Listen to You and Listen to Me Talk Friday. Delighted to be with you. Sometimes we just do it this way to give people more of a chance in case it's the only day they can call or it's a convenient day for them to call. Maybe that's the better way to put it. I had a client in my office some time back, and she didn't get disowned by her married grown child, but she was quite clear that she wanted them to write thank you notes. And they hadn't for months. And if you notice this, a lot of these young couples, I've noticed this. In the old days, those of you listening, you sat down. If you got wedding presents or you got shower presents, graduation presents, you wrote thank yous before you even opened a present. Well, now time and time and time is going by. And a lot of times, I think this is one sign of an entitlement mentality. No thank you notes are written at all. It's like, ew, that takes time. And what if my fingers hurt? So Mary has had a strained relationship with her daughter for some time. Well, Mary did what I talked about in my opening monologue, which is a relationship breaking event. It was not anything at all big. And I said this is one of the reasons why this happens to relationships. It's the final straw, if you will, because there's been brewing ill will and resentment on the part of the person who says, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, because you said or did something that they just took major offense at. And I can speculate, I think, what Mary's daughter heard Mary saying. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let Mary tell you. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Oh, my goodness. Not only today were you talking about me, but the past couple of days you've been talking about me. And actually, it made me feel better because you were talking about therapists who are telling their people to eliminate toxic relationships. And it kind of made me feel a little bit better about the whole situation, that's what I kind of thought was happening, because all of a sudden, she's trying to keep my 5 grandchildren away from my husband and I, and that is killing us, absolutely killing us.
How long's she been doing it, Mary?
I mean,
how long's she been doing that?
It's been almost a month, and she's been this way for a long time. I kind of thought it was hormonal because we could almost mark the calendar as to when we're going to get a diatribe about something that's happened. Mm-hmm. But this is the final straw that's killing us because, I had her son write some, he wrote them thank you notes. It was,
wait a minute, Mary. Wait a minute. How did you have him write those thank you notes? You don't have the authority to make him do that.
Exactly. Well, he had a Best Buddies friendship walk. Awesome thing. And he's the Best Buddies director of his school today. And he wanted to earn the most money. So together we put up posters and he passed them out to the neighbors. And I sent some emails to some friends. And he garnered almost $3,000, $4,000. So, and some of my friends donated like $100. So I felt like I had to send some thank you notes.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. You believe that?
Yes.
Why did you have to do that, and why did his mom not?
Because it was kind of our project. We together, and I didn't get any flack about that. And then he sent, gave a lot of my friends, personal friends that weren't necessarily her friends, and family members, sent hundreds of dollars.
Jeez. So you orchestrated all this. Mary, you orchestrated all this. And she got mad at you. She got mad at you because you said you need to thank these people. And her view was, you're critiquing my motherhood.
Exactly. And that's her view on 100% of everything I do is I'm critiquing her motherhood. Everything. It's all, and she, like I said, is in therapy, and I would love to be a fly on the wall to listen to what she told her therapist about me having her son make thank you notes.
I would hope the therapist would have enough to say, well, that seems kind of appropriate. I would hope. All too often, therapists just ally with the client no matter what the client says. If the client says, my mother is just so difficult and so unpleasant, she's toxic, the therapist won't even explore what is it that makes you think she's toxic, rather than just thinking, oh, well, you're telling me she's toxic? She must be toxic. Any good therapist knows that the client is telling you something through their own perception. So I really try to get into...
Dr. Ray, the worst part of this is she got physical with me. So she had been, trying to estrange us, but for like a week or so. But we would go to her son's baseball games. She would sit on the opposite side, never talk to us the whole time. So after the baseball game, I went over to get the thank you notes because I'd given him a bag so that he could distribute them to like the teachers and people that I'd given to. So I grabbed got the bag and was walking out the door, and she physically attacked me.
Yeah.
Grabbed the bag, started ripping up the thank you notes, and then she.
Wait a minute! I got to make sure I understand
and I
this.
went to try
Wait a minute!
to grab
Stop,
him, and
Mary!
she
Stop!
attacked
Let me say something here. It's my show. Okay. Let me understand this. The son wrote the thank you notes. You had them. She took them off of you and ripped them up. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And then she attacked me. And her husband and my husband had to grab her off of me.
She punched you?
No, I was holding the thank you notes and the ones she hadn't ripped up, and I was holding them, and I fell down on the ground to cover them up, and she tried to. She pulled my hair too.
Oh. Okay. Well, maybe this is a toxic relationship, and it ain't your fault.
I know, but it's killing me because we're very close to the grandkids, and I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. Her husband.
Here's the problem, Mary. Here's the problem, and it ain't the fact that you told her son to write thank you notes. That's not the problem. If you had not told him that, I doubt that you would still have any kind of a relationship, whether it would break eventually. The problem is, she does not like you at all. Am I wrong? I'm not saying, wait a minute. I'm not saying that she doesn't sometimes treat you pleasantly or civilly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at bottom, she doesn't like who you are. Maybe she doesn't like your religion. Maybe she doesn't like your politics. Maybe she
doesn't like my religion, doesn't like my politics. You got it.
So given that, overall, whatever you do or say is interpreted through that lens. I don't like my mother. I don't relate to my mother. So if she wants my son to do something like write thank you notes, which is the totally appropriate sociable thing to do, I hate that just because she suggested it. I mean, I can't put words into her mind, but that would be my guess.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do, Mary, is this.
My question is, what can I do to get my grandchildren back?
Okay, well, I don't know. That's the bad news. I do not know because it sounds like your daughter could be very, very difficult. The one good thing is this. It sounds like the son is about 18. So pretty soon, how old is he, honey?
He's 15, and he's 15, and he still does FaceTime us at night.
Okay.
In his room downstairs.
I'm going to hurry you along here. Mary, because we're past break, so I want to get along. So as he gets older, he's going to decide for himself what his grandma is like. He's probably not going to totally swallow everything his mother says or thinks about his grandma. So he gets older, and those other kids get older. They're going to see, my grandma's a decent lady. I like my grandma. Okay, that's on your side. So that's time. Secondly, if you want to apologize, go ahead. Just tell her, I'm so sorry. I should have asked whether you wanted your son to do that. I'm sorry, and I apologize. I won't give any advice anymore without seeking your opinion first. There, do that. Even though you didn't do anything wrong, it's what I call a no-fault apology. Do that, and see if that softens her.
I kind of already have.
Okay. Did it soften her?
No.
Okay. Then she really doesn't like who you are. And she's probably got a therapist telling her, you need to distance yourself from your toxic mother. Set boundaries because your mother's a narcissist. On and on it goes. Yes. I know. Sometimes my profession does more harm than good. All right, my dear. Well, try it again. Try apology again a month from now.
Would you say a prayer for me? That would be helpful. That's what I've been doing most of.
Well, something even better. Something even better, Mary. A lot of the people who listen to the show, all 127 of my audience, pray for the people who call in. They do. Yes, they tell me that. Please. So you got some good people praying for you. Oh, bless your heart, honey.
Thanks, Father.
Be
Dr.
at
Ray.
peace.
Father Ray, Dr.
Be
Ray.
at peace. Bye-bye. This is Dr. Ray.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
After his tour of duty in Vietnam, my oldest brother Billy became a simple materialist. Sensing himself to be in an indifferent world, the only meaning to be grasped was in the good of control. He joined the police force, had 4 planned children, raised them rather severely, and lived economically prudently. For the past 3 years, though, he has confronted something he cannot control: cancer. And his life has changed. In his own words, "I have a choice between love or fear. I choose love." Well done, brother. Now take the last step. Recognize that love itself is personal. It comes from person, is directed to person. To affirm love is to affirm persons as the greatest good of our lives. And ever to view another person as an obstacle, ever to pay a medical hitman to take a defenseless person out of the way, is to deconstruct the cosmos. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
Brought to you by the nonprofit Seton Home Study.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Ray Guarendi here. You want to pass the Catholic faith on to your children? A very good way is to teach your children at home. You want to protect your kids from the toxic culture that surrounds us? Do you want to have a greater influence than what your kids are learning? Once more, a great way is to teach your children at home. No teacher is going to care about your kids as much as you do. Seton Home Study School is the best way to teach your children at home. Go to setonhome.org. setonhome.org. Last segment. Donna from Detroit. Well, she's experiencing the same thing. No surprise. It's an epidemic. Hello, Donna.
Correct. Hi. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Interesting calls today. Yep.
Common call.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, so like we're living in a generation where a lot of these young people during college time went on like Concerta or Adderall. And I'm not saying that that's the predicament of the last caller, but in our case it is. During college, our daughter decided to take Adderall. Well, then after she got married and after she talked about it with her husband, she wanted to come off because they wanted to have children. And she did, and everything seemed successful and wonderful. And last week we were over there, and when she was at the doctor told her, listen, we can't get slow-release Adderall like you were on. The only thing we can do for you is put you on quick release at lower increments, and then you wean yourself off, and you better not stop taking it cold turkey because it can really do harm to you. And she said, okay. So she took her doctor's advice, and when she was at the doctor the second time, because she had to go back the following week to see how she was
Donna,
doing.
I'm going to have to hurry along here because you have less than 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So long story short, she did what the doctor told her, but her mood swings are pretty much like your last caller, and it was disconcerting because when she came home, she said, how did the kids do? And we were like, oh, yeah, they did great, and they were playing with the dog's bowl, pretending they were playing the drums because they flipped over the dog's bowl drumming, and we thought that was cute, of course, being grandparents. And they had a great time. And she went off on a tangent about we don't flip over the dog's water dish. She was very angry. But we also know that the mood swings are terrible with this particular situation.
Okay, let me jump in because I only got about a minute to give you some thoughts. You're describing, at least what it seems like, is an individual that is, she's had her own struggles with life. She's not necessarily all that content, not maybe so easygoing, and so she's had her own struggles. And very commonly what they do when they live like this is they point at the parents. I have no tolerance for you. You're part and parcel of why I am the way I am, why I do what I do. It's your fault. I'm on drugs, and it's your fault, or whatever her thinking is. It wasn't the dog bowl, Donna. The dog bowl had nothing to do with it. It was she interpreted your taking it lightly as somehow undercutting her standards as a parent. And I find that when people are discontent with themselves, they are much more likely to be irritable and nasty and intolerant with others. And most often, those others are their parents. I got to go. Time out. Call me. See ya Monday. Thanks for the company. Appreciate it. Blessed Memorial Day. Say prayers for the souls of all the young that died for us.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.